full gear, and that lets you save.
Who cares?
True Form Life.
Green look on.
All right, here we go with another episode of Exploring Mind and Body, directed towards health and fitness. We're the only show of its kind in Central Alberta. As always, I'll be your host this evening, True Form's Drew Tadia, fitness expert. In this week's episode, I'm addressing the ever-popular lower back pain. We have some quick health tips for anyone looking to lead a healthier lifestyle. And we have part one with Leslie Winfield on her journey to a healthier lifestyle. All that and so much more coming up on...
This is Exploring Mind and Body with True Form's Drew Tadia, fitness expert on 96.5 CKFM. This segment brought to you by the CLC Fitness Center.
All right, in this segment, I want to talk about some healthy tips, some quick hitters, so get your pens ready. Be conscious of guilt. Just because you've had a bad day doesn't mean you have to fall off the wagon completely. We've all had those days. There's nothing wrong with starting over. Jump right on track the next day. Enjoy your food. Don't eat it too fast. This causes us to eat more and feel sick after, not to mention guilty. Most of us aren't getting enough fiber throughout the day. This is especially important for women. 25 to 30 grams of fiber is a daily recommended allowance. Add cinnamon to your diet. Shakes, oatmeal, cereal are all great places to start. Cinnamon has proven to help the body burn fat. Avoid white breads and white pastas. If you love your carbs, opt for better options. Try whole grain bread and whole wheat pastas. The same goes for white rice. Try brown rice or wild rice. Clean out your cupboards. Get rid of those foods that don't need to be in there, and we all have them. Out of sight, out of mind. Most of the time we reach for those unhealthy foods because they're right in front of us. Focus on being fit and healthy, not the scale. Many times we forget how well we're doing and how well we're staying on track, not to mention we have more energy and feel great. Stay away from that scale. Eat consciously. Don't swallow your food whole. If you're paying attention to how and what you're eating, you'll enjoy your food more and won't have to worry so much about overeating. Find groups of supportive people, whether it be at the gym or a fitness group. Find supportive, encouraging people that help you reach your goals, not hold you back. Make small changes. It's easy to fall off track if you try to make huge changes in your life, health-wise. Make small changes until it becomes a way of life. Carry nuts or trail mix everywhere you go. Not only do nuts satisfy the hunger, but they have many benefits and will also help your metabolism keep running and burning fat. Try to minimize your caffeine intake. Not only is caffeine a diuretic, which will take away from the amount of water you consume, but caffeine hangs out with their good friend named cortisol, who always brings along stress. Reduce your stress by reducing your caffeine beverages. And our last tip in this segment, record. See if you can record everything. Record how often you're working out, start a nutrition journal, and find someone to check it. This keeps you accountable not only to yourself, but to someone else. One of the big reasons our members keep journals is accountability. If you know you have to write it down, there's a better chance you won't miss a workout or consume the food you know you shouldn't.
True Form Life.
This segment brought to you by Health Street. Time now for Real People, Real Results.
All right, Leslie, thanks for joining us on Real People, Real Results for Exploring Mind and Body. I'm going to ask you some questions. So we just want to talk about your journey and you joining us. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I work at the library here in Olds, and I currently have no kids. I have a taller partner. I call him my taller half. So yeah, that's pretty much it about me. Okay.
You're working out with us right now. Did you have any exercise experience before you started?
Yes, actually. I had some exercise experience. During college, I took a lot of the, I started with my education degree, so kinesiology, those types of things, aerobics classes, all through high school. Special projects that I had done were on weight training and stuff like that. But it's always been something that I've been interested in, but then I start and then I get tired, and so I don't do it. So I hadn't actually been working out regularly for a number of years before I started True Form. So I had experience, but not regular experience.
Okay. Why don't you tell us the story? You have an interesting story of why you started with us.
Yeah, actually, it was great. I went to the Refined Fashion Show at Beam Brokers, and they were giving away a door prize of a free week's membership to try True Form out. And so you came in and did your little exercise class demonstration, which was awesome, by the way. And so I was sitting there and they said, oh, well, we're going to give away a week at True Form. And I leaned over to the person that was sitting next to me and said, I'll take that. That would be awesome. And sure enough, my name got pulled out. So it was meant to be. I needed to join True Form. Someone up there was looking out for me. And so then I went and said hi to Drew that night, or you that night. And so I tried it. I think it was the next week. I went to True Form and I really enjoyed it. So I've been with it ever since.
Will you tell me what you thought of the demo in the class we had? For our viewers out there, we did Refine invited us to come in and do a demo at Beam Brokers, like Leslie was saying, and we had a few members doing a demo for everyone to see what our classes were like. And what did you think about the demo or the classes that we did at that time, before we knew each other?
Well, I leaned over to my friend and said I wanted it, so I obviously thought it was a pretty neat thing. I thought it was something that I could do. I thought it was something that was would keep me motivated. I think that was the big thing I thought when I saw it. I was like, you know what? I need a class like that, because I'd gone to the gym before. I'd signed up for gym memberships, and you go for a couple months and then you just stop going because you have nobody to motivate you. So I needed something that was going to be cardio and strength, that actually there was a reason to keep going on a regular basis. And so I thought a class would be great. So yeah.
And have you tried a class here in town prior to?
I'm sure that there's classes out there, but I had never really seen, maybe that's for lack of looking, but no, I'd never tried anything because I didn't see anything out there. There was, I know that there's, Tai Chi and those types of things, but I really wanted something that was more going to be either cardio, aerobics, or kind of like a boot camp type thing. So. Okay.
Will you tell us quickly a little bit about your occupation? Because I want to, it will run into my next question, which is, how do you find the time?
Okay. Well, I am the head librarian here at the library. So I do, I manage basically all the components of the library, and I work 40 hours a week, so Monday to Friday. And then I also have evening stuff that I do, meetings, classes, weekends, that type of thing. So it's a pretty busy job, but I love it.
Okay, just running into our next question. That's why I wanted to make that clear, because you are a busy person and you are able to consistently come to our classes. And I'd like you to share with everyone how you're able to do that.
Well, the great thing about True Form, if I'll put a little plug in for joining True Form, is that you can choose, there's basically in Olds alone 6 classes that you can choose from. So I've decided to go, and I think this is a later question, but I'm going to answer it now. I've decided to go twice a week right now, and I can choose Monday, Wednesday, Friday, either afternoon class or an evening class. And so if I have a meeting in the evening and Monday is my normal day that I work out, like for example, tonight I'm not able to go in the evening, so I'm going to go to the afternoon class instead. So it's really flexible, and I've just kind of tried to fit it in. And I think the big thing is you have to make time. I've decided this is important to me. So if I have to go to work earlier so that I can get off earlier so that I can go to the afternoon class, then I'm going to do that because it's important to me. So you have to make time. Everyone has time. A good friend of mine that also goes to True Form, Krista Worth, says everyone's got time to check Facebook. Everyone's got time to sit down and watch that TV program. Everyone has time.
That's right. I'm glad you brought that up. We talked about a little bit about time in my last interview with Jameson, and everyone does have time. It's just what you put first.
Yeah.
And a lot of people just say they don't have time when we all have time, but if it's not a priority, if we're not making that, if we're not making time for it, then no one is going to have time for it. Mm-hmm. So motivation is something that we all struggle with from time to time. What keeps you in the program and what keeps you coming back?
Yeah, and motivation is a huge thing for everybody, especially for me. I think, like I said before, that was the big thing that I needed is motivation, because I always liked doing stuff like this. If I don't have someone to go with on a regular basis, I just put it off and I say I'm too busy. So one of the big things for me to keep going is I like it. It's fun. We always have a ton of fun in all the classes. So that's a good thing. I always feel like when I'm done working out that I feel good at the end of it, I guess, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. I feel like I have more energy. I feel like I accomplish something that day. And then all of the people that go to the class, I love every single person that I go to class with, and we razz Drew all the time. He just takes it.
I don't have much of a choice now, do I? It's true. It's horrible.
No, just
I have
terrible.
nightmares about these classes. No, you're right. And we have such a great group of supportive people, and we do things outside of True Form. People bring snacks. Everyone's just supportive and works together. So
it's like actually a family, right?
It really is, and it makes like going to work a pleasure for me to be a part of that, because I know we're going to have a good time for our workouts. Mm-hmm. Let's move on to. So we talked a little bit about you feel better about after workouts. Do you want to tell us about a little bit more about that? Like how you're feeling, like a maybe sense of accomplishment, energy you're telling me about maybe in a previous conversation?
Mm-hmm. Sure. I guess since I started way back in November with True Form, but I've just felt like I have a lot more energy after, even throughout the week, throughout the day. One other great thing, and I don't know if we're talking about this later too, but Drew talks about nutrition a lot, and he offers kind of a guided nutrition program as well. So just being able to eat the right things and work out on a regular basis, I felt like I have more energy. And a lot of people think, well, if I start working out, I'm going to be tired, and I just don't have time to do that. And it really gives you more energy, and you feel like you can accomplish more. You feel more accomplished at work because you're getting more done, and you're just feeling good about yourself. And clothes that I haven't been able to wear for 4 or 5 months because I grew out of them, are now fitting me again, which is great. I can go in my closet and be like, oh, I love that shirt. I'm going to wear it again. And so it's just great. And you get compliments from people oh, I love that shirt. Is it new? And you can say, no, it just fits me again. And you feel good about that as well. So it's great.
That was real people, real results. Now, back to the show. This segment brought to you by Shoppers.
This question was asked by a member of our class, and I wanted to share it with you because most times when one person has a question, others are wondering the same thing. Why does my back hurt when I do certain exercises? Let's talk about push-ups, for example, or the plank position in general, which is basically holding a push-up position for those that may not be familiar with the plank position. So when you're holding this position, it's a great overall core exercise, or could even be considered a whole body exercise. You're working your shoulders and triceps, and not only your abs, but whole core, from top of your rib cage to your toes. Not specifically any muscle group in your legs, but it does take your whole body to stay up. When you're holding this position, it's called a static exercise. Make sure to breathe. This will jump up your heart rate in a hurry, so it's important to note that people with high blood pressure or are on any kind of beta blockers or high blood pressure pills should stay away from static exercises. Now, what happens when you get lower back pain is your core, or more specifically your abs, are giving out, causing your hips to sag. This is a problem, and it's important to fix right away. The hips need to be adjusted back to the proper position, or even higher than before. We need to flex our abs and keep a tight core so we don't lose any ground when we're in the plank position. Lower back problems are common enough. We don't need to do anything extra to increase this problem. The same thing if you're doing actual push-ups. This is most apparent when you're using a prop as opposed to the ground. If your feet or hands are on any kind of unstable surface, not so much a bench but a Swiss ball or a Bosu ball, which is a half ball, our hips can sag without us even knowing it, because most of the time we're not watching ourselves work out. We need to be extra careful in these circumstances. There are a few things we can do to keep doing this exercise so we don't have to stop in case we get this pain. One of them is widen your base. Spread your legs and or your hands. This will make the exercise easier. A wider base will cause an easier exercise. If you want to test this theory, try a push-up on one leg, being the narrowest base you can make with your body. Then do a push-up with your legs spread wide as possible, although comfortable. You'll soon find out the wider base is much easier. The other thing you can do is drop down to your knees. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, if you're a beginner or elite athlete. There's nothing wrong with doing push-ups on your knees. I know most people think they're girl push-ups, or they aren't real push-ups, but that's not true. If you're doing an exercise like push-ups till failure, you should actually finish on your knees. Because if you stop when you can't do any more on your toes, that means you didn't go till failure. You'll certainly be able to rep out a few more on your knees. Be careful